Today's IGN podcast is brought to you by Fox Digital Copy. It's so easy to view movies on your iPod. Find out how to insert, transfer, go at foxdigitalcopy.com.
Beyond!
What's up, everybody? This is episode 66
City,
of
get filthy!
Podcast Beyond.
You know, if we added an extra 6 to this podcast, we'd be the devil.
Yes, we only have...
Who says we're not?
See, we've been doing this for about, a year and a half now, I guess.
Pretty much.
So we need another 10 times that. So in about 15 years or so, we'll hit number 666.
Well, we're all still Podcast Beyond.
So 15 years, look for that. I'll only be 47 at the time. So,
Wow.
Anyway, I am your host, Chris Roper, editor-in-chief of the IGN PlayStation team. The crew's here once again. We're on a pretty good streak.
Yeah.
Greg Miller, what's up?
Nothing.
Ryan Clements,
You
how's it
did me
going?
before Jeff.
I'm mixing it up.
Exactly.
Now I'm going line of sight.
Okay, I gotcha.
Jeff's
Yeah,
in the
you-
doghouse.
Ryan-
Saving the best for last,
Oh.
Ryan.
So that means
Ryan-
I've been best in every other podcast.
Oh,
Oh, please.
And Jeff Haynes, what's
How's
up?
it? Not much.
Let's kick it off with the Rope Report.
Time for some news.
Hot off the presses this very morning. That was crazy. Hot off the presses this very morning comes word that what we kind of knew yesterday, everybody kind of expected after a little press release about, hey, stay tuned. It has been confirmed that Harmonix is working on a full-on Beatles music game.
awesome.
What?
So,
So it's coming to Rock Band.
no.
What?
So here's the deal: is MTV Games owns Harmonix.
I've heard of these people.
And then EA publishes Rock Band. So EA slaps the bits on a disc, makes the cover, sticks it to the stores, and that's EA's end of it, and they get some cash for it, right? So in the press release, what it says is, or the conference, whatever they had, MTV itself worked out a deal with the Apple Music Group, and then now Harmonix, I guess for the past 17 months, give or take, they said they've been working on it. They've been making this game. It's going to be a standalone title that, when pressed, will somehow take advantage of the Rock Band platform, but they're unclear about that. Everybody's assuming that means at least the instruments will work, which would be stupid if it didn't. But we don't know if that means you can copy the songs over or anything like that. I'm thinking that the standalone thing could be kind of cool, though, because the game sounds like it's going to go through all their albums, which would be pretty rad if they, have the bulk of their music in there. That'd be pretty incredible.
Doesn't Michael Jackson own all the Beatles songs still or something?
Actually, I believe he sold some of those back because he was bankrupt.
He's bankrupt, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
Good.
anyway, so what could be pretty cool there, though, is if it's a standalone game, they can have, you play as the Beatles, and they can change the way they look, and, unique character designs depending on the album, and
Alternate
really cool
endings.
backdrops, alternate endings.
If you don't let John get with Yoko,
Yeah.
you guys go on.
It would actually work. Yeah.
That would be pretty rad.
Sitar Hero.
But anyway, so that game's coming, so everybody's pretty excited about that one. Atari, after picking up Ghostbusters, has now also...
Reportedly picking up Ghostbusters. They refuse to say anything on the record.
Okay, but reportedly, everybody knows it because Dan Aykroyd confirmed it, basically. They have now also picked up Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Athena. So that's very good. We're going to see that in the spring sometime.
back of the bus and
Yeah, don't say it.
I know. That's why I stopped.
Pretty good bits of news for PS3 gamers, and that some free DLC is going to be coming into 2 games. One is MotorStorm Evolution is going to be releasing weekly content updates. Ooh. So they're going to be giving out stuff every week for the game. No specific word on exactly what that is. Evolution's also working on some what they say are some pretty massive downloadable packs. Those will be paid for. Those will be coming after the holiday season. That should be pretty cool. And then Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm will be getting some free DLC as well. So be on the lookout for that. It has some new characters, some new arenas or places to fight in. So that should be pretty cool.
Naruto.
Yes. Grand Theft Auto now has trophies.
Little game. Woohoo. Little game.
As of Monday. Yep. Trophies, and now the zombie thing's also in there. That's been in there before. But so that's pretty cool. So everybody that's been wanting Grand Theft Auto 4 trophies, you are now good.
Vlog neck mod.
Kojima is working on a new game. Woo! We didn't, obviously everybody's going to take that. But anyway, but next year the game will be announced, and apparently in
RPG.
He says He said that it should be coming in the not too distant future. So maybe it'll get announced next year, and then we'll see it within the year after that. That would be pretty
Downloadable
cool.
title.
I hope it's a game that the PlayStation 3 recognizes it if it's in sunlight or if it's in darkness, and I have to put my PlayStation 3
A
in
new
the sun.
Boktai? No.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Do it.
Most bets are on Zoe 3.
Yeah.
But keeping
Yeah.
fingers crossed on Snatcher or Police Knots.
We'll see. I think it's going to be something new, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of news I'll mention today is that the PSP 3000 4GB memory stick inclusion package is dead.
What?
It's canceled. So Sony, in a way to kind of make things easier for people to go into the store and buy it, are sticking with the Ratchet and Clank patch that's out there right now. So it's the only way you're going to be able to get the PSP 3000. So I guess that's...
Well, no, they're going to release standalone Piano Black here in like December, I think.
Okay, yeah, but as far as the entertainment packs
Correct.
and all that kind of stuff go, the only one to get it is that one.
Cool.
So
Cool.
there you go. And that's the bit. That's the end of the bit of news. But Greg, you had something you want to talk about.
I have the Greg rumor report.
Oh, rumor report.
Yeah.
We need new music.
Rumor report.
I don't know if I like that one.
Yeah.
That was like I don't even know if it's a rumor.
Wasn't that good? I'm gonna kill you in your sleep.
Oh my God! He's done, folks. He's taken enough abuse.
I think it's because
Clemenza
Ryan had his
snapped.
Raisin Bran this morning.
Oh,
That's my raisin
Is
bread.
that what did it? You're wearing the do a barrel roll.
No,
There you
I
go.
wouldn't kill you in your sleep.
wearing a
I'd
shirt.
love you in your sleep, though.
Oh.
Man, this is turning
You have to
around
wait
in
for me
a
to
different
sleep.
interesting direction.
This just went red zone in two different directions.
Ooh.
Anyways, this isn't really a rumor report. It's, I guess, my eyes-on report of Little Big Planet. I've been playing it a lot lately this week, and the servers have been down pretty much all week long.
Oh.
Yesterday, they put out the patch 1.03, which I would assume was supposed to fix all the server stuff because it fixed all the server stuff for a little while, and I got to play. However, some stuff went wrong, and then I restarted my game and went in and was playing some more, and the servers went dead again, and we're dead for the rest of the night. So I got to play with servers on for about an hour and a half last night before they got shut off again. However, during my hour and a half play, I ran into a Halloween horror story, Ryan Clements.
Well, I'm ready. Oh, what was that?
I was rubbing your cheeks.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't really touch cheeks.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yikes.
yeah. So I was playing, and I went back into Roper's
Mo's
level.
hand
I got
was
to
on my
play
knee.
this cool Batman, the Sackman Begins level. I don't know if
nice.
you've seen
I haven't
this.
seen that, no.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of great
awesome.
stuff. I played with Jeff Ramsroop a little bit.
Nice.
And he redid his Metal Gear Solid 4 level, like touched it up and stuff. We get there's a Beyond shout out in it now,
Nice.
like when you're going up the
Beyond
elevator.
Gear.
There's a lot better music. He changed some stuff around. It's really
Very cool.
really polished. It's nice. But so I was playing your level again, hoping I could finally get the trophy for jumping, or going incredible heights, going incredible speeds, and I still couldn't do it. So I jumped out, and a bunch of people have obviously done your idea too. So I went into another trophy level, and as I did that, Zero Moose, who I'm assuming is one of the Beyond listeners, if he's on my list, I don't know, he plays SingStar at least. Anyways, he joined me, and he had a friend with him, and we went into this trophy level, and I got on the platform, and it shot me up into the air, and I went off the screen, and he was still down here on the screen, and we had headsets on, and all of a sudden, like, the screen, it just started strobing, because it was just, like, crashing, like, because you get shot up in the air, and then all the prize bubbles or whatever, point bubbles, fall from the thing, and it's just a sea of them falling. So all I hear, I get in there, and I go to the top, and I'm like, oh, and it pops up in the corner, says you have the trophy, and then all the stuff starts falling, and he goes, oh my God, and then it just froze. The screen just froze with all these bubbles, like, on the air, me off the screen, and it's just dead. The system's dead. My controller is mid-rumble, so it's just rumbling nonstop. I'm like, oh, crap. So I wait, I hit the PS button, nothing, it's not responding. I'm like, all right, so I go up there, I hold down the PlayStation 3 button, it goes ding, 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 like it's about to restart. I go sit back down, wait a little while longer, it does not restart. I'm like, oh,
shit.
crap. So I go up there and I reach it off, flip it off, give a hard boot, turn it back on the system, and I go in and I'm like, well, maybe I got that trophy, I need to update my trophies or whatever. I go into the trophies, all of my Little Big Planet progress is gone. Like, the level, like, the Little Big Planet thing isn't even on there. And, like, I went over to my actual trophy count through my PSN list, and everything's still in there that it shows that I've done it before.
Right.
However, I don't want to have to go back and try beat all the levels or whatever. I want to keep progressing, hopefully one day get to platinum or whatever. So I start kind of freaking out. I have a mini freak out because it's not even there, like, completely gone. So I jump back in the game. I go back to that trophy level to try to figure this out, and again, I get shot up in the air. I get the incredible speed, I get the incredible height, but then I'm getting all the trophies I already had before, like for the prize bubbles. I'm like, oh God, no, it's not recognized. Pause it, go back to the trophy screen. I have the Little Big Planet icon now, but I'm only at 2% when I should be like 28.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God. So I quit out, go back. Finally, I went in and resynced, and then it gave me everything back that I had. But for a while there, I was pretty sure I just screwed myself over. And then the servers died. So.
See, my level never did that. It didn't give you the jump on, but it never killed your trophies. Anyway.
Little
I think
Big
that was
Planet,
just
killing trophies since 2008.
You went to the haunted Little Big Planet level.
I did, yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God!
Oh, and did you play the God of War level when that was?
No, I haven't downloaded it yet.
Man, it's awesome. You got to play that too.
Okay.
If the servers ever work again.
Yeah.
Next time it's on for an hour and a half, I'll let you know.
Well, it should. Yeah, I guess. Well, was the God of War level download from the Little Big Planet servers or from the PlayStation Store?
No, this is one of the kids. Kid made it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Greg. Let's find out what games are coming out in stores this week.
Oh my God! It's the holiday season. That means the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors is more crowded than ever.
Okay.
PlayStation 3 has Legendary, Tom Clancy's End War, Quantum of
Legendary
Solace.
is not out.
Well, this is according to GameStop.
Well, that's wrong.
All right. See, if everyone remembers, Podcast Beyond used to be on Mondays, and I used to be able to go to IGN to get this list, and then we switched over to this day, and now when I go to click on release dates, preview, I can't tell what's been out and what's not. So I go to GameStop, see what's shipping. This is what's shipping according to GameStop. Naruto Ultimate Ninja, MotoGP 08, Baja 1000, SingStar Volume 2, Little Big Planet again, Fallout 3, MotorStorm, Guitar Hero World Tour. PlayStation 2 is Quantum of Solace, SingStar Legends, Goosebumps, Horrorland, SingStar Country, Ryan's favorite, King of Fighters, Orochi Saga, Baja 1000, even though I wrote 100, but I'm assuming it's not,
Yeah, they didn't. divide by
900
10.
less than the PlayStation 3. Shrek's Carnival
Can't fit
Craze,
the rest of it.
High School Musical 3, MotoGP, Monster Jam, Urban Assault, Ben 10. I'm not going to pronounce this one right. Mahi Kalama's Alchemy of La Rosal, Go Diego Go, Great Dinosaur Race,
Diego,
Dora the Explorer, Dora Saves the Snow Princess, Guitar Hero World Tour, PSP has Pet Saddle Club, King of Fighters, Orochi Saga, Ben 10, Monster Jam, Neverland Card Battle, Cake Mania, Baker's Challenge.
Jesus.
Man,
Lots
that
of
is
games.
a list.
That's a big
That
one.
is insane.
Remember,
Surprised it fit on the paper.
Yeah, you remember like in April when we do this, and there's
There's
2
nothing.
games.
Yep. PSP is nothing. PS2 is nothing.
PS3, one
Yeah.
game.
Well, at least there's games to play. Although you're playing Go Diego Go and
No,
Dora.
Sam Bishop is playing.
Yeah.
Diego Go.
Very true. Jeff, do we have any sort of update on what's going to be happening on the PlayStation Store today?
Blogneck, of course, is celebrating his favorite
Zombie
holiday.
Blogneck?
Yes, because it is.
You can walk around and eat people, no one is saying.
Exactly, and
It's a
nobody
great
would necessarily
costume.
know. So Zombie Blogneck has not exactly filled me in on all that, although he did point out that Sony is doing a costume contest. And if you submit entries of you and your costume to the PlayStation blog,
You have to be in a costume as a Sony
you
character,
have to be in costume, I believe, as a Sony
They were talking
character.
like Buzz and Kratos
Yeah,
and stuff.
Buzz, Kratos, Sackboy, like any Sony character. If you submit by November 3rd, 5 p.m. Pacific, which is the cutoff time, they'll judge all the costumes and put up the 5 best entries, and you'll be able to vote on those for 2 days after, and the winner will be, I guess, announced on November 5th. The winner will get a 80 gig PS3. The second place winner will get a PSP 3000, and the third place winner will get a $50 card for the PSN.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Also,
Very nice.
Pixel Junk Monsters trophies come out today.
Ooh.
There
Yes.
you go.
God, it's going to dick me again.
Man.
Yeah.
But at least they didn't do it like how they can't do it backwards compatible.
Right.
They did, I like the fact they went with challenges rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
hey, go do everything you've done before.
And
Right.
they also adjusted the difficulty level, so if you're having trouble with
hard.
one specific level, you can drop the difficulty down, and you'll still get the trophy for finishing
Yeah,
it.
you
There
can.
you go.
I think you can rainbow them
Yeah,
on
you
the
can
easier
rainbow it on
difficulty,
easy,
too. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then go back for a challenge.
Very
Exciting.
good. Yeah, if you guys haven't played Pixel Junk Monsters
Do it.
yet, go get
Do
that
it.
game.
Do
It's
it. Do it. Do it.
amazing.
Do it.
So going on to pick of the week. I think the 2 front runners have got to be Fallout and Little Big Planet.
Yes.
I've got my Fallout Collector's Edition at home. I've watched the behind the scenes, but I have not actually played the game yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting till I have more hours in one string I can actually play it. Obviously, I've played Little Big Planet, so that one I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard pick for me. 2 totally different games. I know some people were writing an email saying, "What should I get? Should I get Fallout or Little Big Planet?" Some people were saying, including Resistance, that mix. Totally different games, and I don't know. For me, it's a tie. I guess I got to say, and this is predicting what Fallout's going to do for me, but from what I've been hearing. But I mean, if I didn't have either game and I was at the store and I could only pick one, it'd be a coin toss, man. I don't know.
It depends on I think how much time you have.
Yeah, it does.
Like I like Little Big Planet right now because I can pop in and play a level and go to bed or do whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
Whereas like Fallout, I'm gonna want to sit down and play nonstop.
Yeah, and having a little time like earlier this week to borrow Eric's PS3 copy, like Fallout is really addictive and a lot of fun. It does have like a lot of
I hear
bugs,
it's super
though.
buggy though.
It does have a lot
Especially on
of
the
bugs. I mean,
PS3.
like it's one of those things where like I managed to shoot like at a roach in one of the earlier sections, and not only did the floor break and just like vanish to one of those blue like nondescript game world areas, so the entire like floor and world just broke, and then all of a sudden it was like the camera and the game decided to fight back in, so then it snapped back to a camera, but the camera was stuck inside a wall. And then it realized that it was inside the wall and just started vibrating the screen as it tried to shift the perspective.
Like the whole glitch with it freezing every time you get a PlayStation.
Yeah, and that does happen.
See, I'm
like,
saying
still.
my pick of the week, Little Big Planet.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think you can go wrong with either game.
No.
There's a couple issues with Fallout that need to be fixed, but both games are good.
They'll probably fix them, right? I mean, I imagine they'll patch it in the
that
future.
message thing's got to be patchable pretty easy.
Yeah, that's easy. The game world thing, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Only the Oracle knows.
Let's get on to trophy tips.
Just a tip. Don't play Little Big Planet crazy trophy level with a bunch of people, because it will break your system.
My level should be fun.
The Roper level fun.
Yeah, my level again is called Trophies Galore. Anyway, you can play that one. I got one for an unreleased game so far, Mirror's Edge.
Oh, wow.
So check this out. So there is,
split?
huh? So I believe that the trophy is silver, but if for one of them is you're supposed to, I forget what it's called, but you're supposed to run at full speed for 30 seconds, which can be hard to do in the game because you're constantly jumping and running into stuff and climbing and whatever. So getting the 30-second thing can be pretty difficult, and which I believe again is why it would be silver. But it's either the second or third level in the game. I believe it's the second one. At one point you come to where there's like this construction site, and you're supposed to go down into this giant hole where they're doing whatever down in there. So there's a curved ring around the top that's sort of like a drain going into this giant hole or whatever. There's dudes shooting at you outside. Basically, in a lot of sections of the game, you'll come to a section, and then a couple seconds later, like the people will show up. So it's like, hey, get out of there before they get there. But they'll start shooting at you, but it's fine. They don't hurt you enough to kill you. But you can basically just run around the outside of the ring like a speed lap. And you can just keep going, and you just keep your thing up, and just wait there for 30 seconds. Just keep running, and you'll get the trophy. It's a piece of cake. Once you anywhere else in the game that I've played through the first 3 levels, I don't know where else you could do it unless you were really good at actually stringing together all the moves, which would be pretty difficult even on its own. But in that section, it's a piece of cake. You just hold and slight turn and just keep doing it like you're playing NASCAR.
How are the other trophies in there? Easier or hard?
They're all pretty well. So you get a trophy for finishing each of the chapters, which is pretty simple, and then there are trophies for doing certain move combinations. So offhand, this is a total guess, but it might be one where you like climb up a wall, turn and jump somewhere, then do a roll and slide under something or whatever. I think that I want to say there's 4 of those kind of trophies, and I got 3 of them just by playing the game normally. And those are all silvers, I believe. So, I mean, I've gotten a decent bit of them so far. There's some of them that are for the time trials, where you have to get, you beat a couple time trials, you get to a certain ranking or whatever, and the time trials so far are a pain in the ass. The one positive thing, on one of the screens, of course nobody's playing, and I don't even know if I can connect to the servers right now, but one of the things is that you can download somebody else's ghost. So once somebody actually dominates the time, you can download the ghost and just follow them through the path and probably get all the trophies that way. But yeah, that one where you speed run around the ring is a piece of cake.
Cool.
So there's that one. So when you get
Just
it,
a tip.
Anybody else got anything for this week? No. All right, let's move on.
No.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Greg, I will let you introduce this one.
Hey everybody, there's a game coming out called Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. Don't spoil the song of the week. Anyways, Jeff and I were awesome enough to have a sit-down interview with Ed Boon, the Lord and Master of all things Mortal Kombat.
Who graced us with his presence.
Saibot.
There you go.
Indeed.
So let's hear it. What's up, everybody? It's Greg and Jeff. You just heard us a second ago, and then we did some kind of transition to this. But alongside us is none other than Ed Boon, creative director for the Mortal Kombat Everything. What's up?
I'm doing good. Glad to have.
Ed, why the hell are you on the show today?
Well, we are here to talk about Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, and we're really excited about it.
I am also very excited about it. As Jeff will tell you, as I'm sure we've talked once or twice before, I'm a huge DC Comics fan. At the Vegas event, I did stand up and give it a standing ovation, only person in the room, because it caught me so off guard. However, even seeing the trailer, being excited for being a DC fan, I saw it and said, I'm very excited for this. probably going to be a bad game. Turns out it's not so far from everything I've seen.
No, yeah. We, I think we're going to buck a trend here, and we're going to be a really strong game. When I think a lot of people had the initial reaction to the game, it was just something so from left field that they just didn't see a matchup. But then as we slowly released, additional information on the game, videos, and people started to play it, I think then they saw it and it kind of connected.
In the most condensed version, how did it come to be? I mean, it was so out of left field. I never expected that.
It seemed, especially after Armageddon, it was like crossover. What, if anything, you would think maybe like Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat or some other like fighting series. But all of a sudden, you had comic book characters, and I went, what?
Yeah. I mean, it was. I don't think it's been. It obviously hasn't been the first time that it was been done. Capcom had done stuff with Marvel before, and they did the X-Men fighting game as well. But from our standpoint, after Armageddon, we really felt like it was time for as dramatic of a change as possible to Mortal Kombat. This is Mortal Kombat 8 for people who have been counting, and we really felt like it was time for people to pick up the game and say, I haven't played this. I want to see how this plays, as opposed to, I played Armageddon, I played Deception, I know how to, how this is going to play as well. And so adding the DC characters was something that our marketing people came to us and said, are you interested? I went back to the team, to be honest, because it wasn't an instant no-brainer for me. So I asked the guys on the team, and I said, what do you guys think? And everybody, the more they thought about it, the more that we really felt that this is exactly what we've been looking for. It's a dramatic change to the gameplay, presentation, and story of Mortal Kombat.
Let's talk about that too. When you play, I had been one of the fans who was, huge into 1, huge into 2, and then kind of tapered off, came back and forth, went around. One of the big challenges for the franchise, it seemed, is getting a foothold in a 3D environment for a really good game, and it seems like you have that now. But even saying that, it still plays very much like a 2D one. Like, you definitely you can move it around once in a while, but it's not as dramatic as you'd expect.
Right. Yeah. Some of the basic strategies that people do in a fighting game. I felt were not as accessible in the last 3 games. Because we wanted to support 3D fighting. Pushing up on the pad would basically make you walk in 3 space or
transfer your plane, kind of.
Exactly, and pulling down was something that would make you walk towards the camera, and that to some extent made ducking, the simple process of ducking or jumping straight up, something that wasn't quite as intuitive because you had to go down and away, and so instantly it made it used less. And so as we kept talking about fighting and our fighting mechanic and everything, everybody was like, what, let's kind of go back to some of the basic strategies of ducking under punches and doing uppercuts, jumping up in the air, having more of an aerial, jump over projectiles when somebody shoots them. And when we put that in, it just felt right. And it was something that let's go in this direction. We still wanted to be able to move in 3 space, because if you want to align yourself with a transition, push somebody through a building or over the edge of an arena, we want to give you that ability. But in terms of the basic moment to moment, kind of getting in there with somebody and mixing it up, we literally wanted to be as 2D as possible.
You dance around it a little bit in a lot of interesting ways. Obviously, we just talked about the running people through walls. A lot of people have seen it from the very beginning, that first trailer of Scorpion and Batman going at it, when you can go off of ledges and stuff.
Yeah.
But even today, we just had a demo, and the one thing that really caught my eye is, being a huge nerd, you're fighting up in the Guardian Watchtower, and you went through a computer screen and over that. It was like, wow, I didn't even think of something like that being interchangeable that way. For people who are just Podcast Beyond reaches literally millions of people who only know what we tell them. So, tell us a little bit about. So, there's 3 main new things, right? For as far as fighting, the wall stuff, the falling stuff.
Yeah, we I guess we can kind of give them names. One of the big things we added was what's called close combat, and basically, for people who know what the function of a throw is in a fighting game, is for people who are blocking, it's something that basically breaks through a block, so you can grab somebody and throw them. But now we call it's kind of like an interactive throw. You grab somebody, you've gone through their block, and then you play this kind of mini game where you decide, how much damage is going to be inflicted, and if you can hit the guy with enough punches, 3 or 4, before they can guess which one you're going to use, then you're going to inflict the most damage. But if they guess the first one, then basically he's going to inflict damage on you. So it's a little bit of a gambling feature in there. And a similar mechanic is with what we call free-fall combat. So normally you knock somebody off the edge of an arena, it's a completely passive experience. You're just watching them, and it's a cool thing to look at, but it effectively breaks up the fighting. It's a pause where you're not fighting, you land, and then you continue to fight. We made this like a mini game of sorts. So as you're falling, you're doing this kind of mini game. You land on the ground, and then you continue with the 2D Mortal Kombat fighting. Those two kind of big features on top of what we're calling like pro moves with our secret, special moves, throwing projectiles. There's enhanced versions of a lot of the special moves in the game that will take it to a level that, beyond what we've done.
Beyond!
previous Mortal Kombat games.
Now, one of the things that I was always interested in finding out about was kind of the finishing moves or the fatalities, because I know that one of the things that you announced at the very beginning was that fatalities wouldn't exactly happen in the same way that people have come to know and love them in Mortal Kombat, because you really, I seriously doubt that DC would allow us to, rip Batman's heart out of his chest, or exactly how you managed to kill Superman in the game would not necessarily work really well.
Yeah.
How exactly are you guys handling things like that?
Everybody, we always kind of knew that it was going to be a challenge, but at the same time, in our heads, the formula for coming up with like a fatality was, okay, it has to have this, kind of shocking gore value, and, for 8 games or 7 games of Mortal Kombat, coming up with fatalities, we've done a lot of what you can think of, spines, hearts, intestines, all these kind of crazy things. And what we found was, you're thinking inside of a different box. So all of a sudden it's more of like, magic and impact and kind of intensity without the gore. And so the fatalities weren't difficult to come up with at all. Some of them did kind of cross the line, and we went back and forth with the ESRB, and they felt that some of them went beyond the T-rating.
Beyond!
And so then when we pulled them back and we iterated with them, at least 3 or 4 times throughout the process of the game.
What's your favorite one so far?
My favorite fatality, mine is Captain Marvel's, where he throws the opponent headfirst into the ground. It's just there's something just kind of very basic, brutal about it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my favorites.
I'm going to play probably the most is the DC characters. However, so far from what I've seen, Liu Kang, my favorite finisher. Yeah. We just saw it. Jeff, their fight, finish him, and he calls down an original Mortal Kombat arcade cabinet, and it just crushes the opponent into the ground. It was pretty epic.
That is awesome. So wait, would that actually even have the Raiden stylized one on the side too, where it's just lightning and everything, or does it have the screen?
That was the MK2 cabinet. This is just like the basic,
the basic
dragon and all that
nice.
stuff. So it was, it's actually something that he was able to do in Mortal Kombat 3. So it's more of like a
throwback.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing you guys haven't talked that much about, you try to keep under wraps a bit, is story modes and modes in general. I was very impressed today when we were going. There's story mode, there's arcade mode, there's what were you calling it?
Combo challenge.
Thank you. Combo challenge.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about all that? How that works?
Sure. The story mode is, like I said, one of our goals in making this game was, for the most part, if we've done it before, if it was a feature we had before, let's try not to repeat it. We had in our previous games, the crypt, this whole thing of unlocking these coffins and ways of unlocking things. We didn't want to repeat that. And we had this conquest mode, which was our kind of single-player story experience. We wanted to change everything. We didn't want people to feel like they played the game. So our big thing was our new story mode. It's basically 2 modes. One when you play from the Mortal Kombat's perspective, one from the DC perspective, and each one kind of follows the same big events but from the perspective of the other side. So you'll see a character disappear, for some unknown reason on the Mortal Kombat side, and on the DC side that character is appearing, and they're basically swapping with characters. And so as you play through the story modes, you will actually, a lot of pieces got to get hooked together, and you kind of realize, oh wow, this is making a lot more sense, and it's going to become it's a great we're excited because it's a way that we've never presented the story in any of the previous Mortal Kombat games.
Speaking of, another, like the trailer was just recently released that had some of the story elements within it. But for those people that might not have actually checked that out, can you tell us like a little bit about what the basic story of
sure.
the game is?
Basically, the Mortal Kombat universe and the DC universe are just kind of merging together. So there's a lot of really odd things that are happening. Like in Wonder Woman's Island, for instance, it's half of it looks like Shang Tsung's Island. There's literally a yellow separation between them, and then one side's really pretty, the mascara and all the whole beauty of the Wonder Woman's Island, and then the other one's the exact opposite. And so all these odd things are happening, and characters are just disappearing. And when they say disappearing, it's really they're being replaced. So Luke or the Flash and Scorpion, they switch places, and so all of a sudden the Flash is in Gotham City, and he runs into Kano. It's like who is this Kano guy? And then they get into a fight, and you're playing as Flash, and all this thing slowly unfolds this story of how these two big events that you saw in the beginning of the story modes activated this kind of massive merging of the universes, and slowly you kind of realize that there's this big kind of boss character who's in kind of the cause of all of it, and then the sides individually have to fight each other to determine like who's going to survive, basically.
Now you're telling me you showed a little bit of it too. Arcade mode is still there if you remember it. The little head comes in, connects to the other one, and slowly moves up the ladder.
Goes up the line, yeah.
And you're saying there's crazy endings for every character, right?
Exactly.
Just like before?
Yeah. We have the traditional arcade mode where you go up the ladder, you fight. Our final boss character's name is Dark Khan, and he's kind of almost like a hybrid between Darkseid and Shao Kahn, so hence the name Dark Khan. And when you finish it, you see like these kind of story, the ending of if this character was the one who defeated everything. And so when you think of the Mortal Kombat characters, there's a character that gets the ability to do an animality, and there's a character, Superman, has, cures one of his weaknesses in his ending, and, Captain Marvel has this, the Joker has this, runs his own tournament. It's a great, it's a great, what if scenario. Yeah.
Jinx. We're done. Okay. All right. Well, this is enough of us. Every time here on Podcast Beyond, we do reader mail.
Reader mail.
Milk call.
Jim Milk.
And we're jumping a little bit ahead. Roper will have to forgive us, but we're going to do some here for you. We open it up to the boards to let some kids chime in on what they wanted to know about the game. Usually we just do this on the PlayStation boards, but today I branched out and went to the Mortal Kombat boards, and they seem meaner than our fans. So Aid 2004 wants to know, we were expecting a darker, grittier game, but we got superheroes instead. How is that darker and grittier bringing on people that don't belong in the Mortal Kombat universe? They don't belong there, Ed. How dare you?
Well, the game that we had in mind in the beginning was a different game, and this opportunity kind of presented to us, and we kind of took it. But at the same time, there still will be in the future an M-rated Mortal Kombat that is going to be, kind of
strictly what people are expecting.
Exactly. So this is, to me, it's more of like an interruption to the normal story progression, and it's a big what if scenario. It's not part of the canon, so to speak, and so we will kind of get back on track and move forward.
Just a fun little diversion.
Yeah.
Now, this is a question he asked you, but I'll answer. Why did Ed Boon sell out to the millions of comic book superhero nerds around the world? I thank you for selling out to people like me. I remember playing Justice League Task Force on my Genesis and saying, this is a Mortal Kombat ripoff, and it's not nearly as good.
Well, I think some of the, like I was mentioned before, some of the people, they're the same ones who would complain of saying, "Oh, you're just doing the same thing over and over again."
You can't make anyone happy.
Exactly, and so from our perspective, we're the team is very happy with how the game turned out. I think when all is said and done, it's going to prove to have been a success in the sense of like a great entry into the Mortal Kombat series. So I think this reaction was a lot of people's reactions when they first heard it, not having seen the game, not having played the game. I have a lot of confidence that when this, I'm not sure what his name was,
2004.
when he plays the
given
game,
name.
when he plays the game, he's going to realize that it's going to be a great entry to the series.
Okay. Sub-Zero Win SFV has some quick-fire ones. Are all the characters balanced, or are there any that might have an advantage?
I think in making a fighting game, everybody wants to make a fighting game wants to make every single character completely, 100% balanced. But that's impossible. I don't think there's any fighting game out where every single character is, just as powerful as the other. There's always some that kind of rise to the top, but hopefully you don't have too much of a disparity, so you can have guys who are really good with, the Flash can be somebody who's really good with Joker or something. So
I was really bad with Wonder Woman today. Yeah. How many finishing moves are there per character? I wanted to branch out. I was really good with Green Lantern. I was lighting fools up.
Fools. What was the question? I'm sorry.
How many finishing moves are there per character?
2 finishing moves per character.
Roughly how long does the game last? I guess we'll limit that to story. You can play. Yeah. There's 2 different sides to play, right? You go through individually.
There's a number of modes, and the story mode has 2 sides. Like I said, it's like, you play the whole story mode from the MK perspective, and then also from the DC. I think from each side it's probably about 3 hours each side.
Okay. Trunks the Stampede 1 asks, any possibility of downloadable characters?
Absolutely a possibility of downloadable characters. We built it into our game, so if it calls for it, we'll definitely do it. Obviously you can't promise, you don't know what the situations are, but we are definitely prepared for it should it warrant it.
You were talking a little bit about alternate tires, maybe something down the line.
Yeah,
as far as
we have the ability to do not just characters, different whether it's backgrounds or costumes or something like that, but we haven't really decided what. I suspect that the most wanted feature would be characters.
So like Reptile or Mr. Mitzelplick or some of the other. Some of the other.
Get Mixie in that game.
Yeah,
come on.
Get a little Mixie in. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Question. I'm very sick. I'm a Superman fan, obviously, and since I cover this game, I talk about it a lot. I'm sick of answering this one, but I'll let you do it. PL Wolf Ord asks, will the reason Superman can be damaged be revealed in the story mode?
Absolutely.
Is it really that hard?
Yeah.
Kryptonite and magic, folks.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
Read a comic book. Do something. Expand your brain.
Yeah.
God. Oh my gosh. Hybrin INFC? Sure. Mm-hmm. He says, be honest. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or Mortal Kombat vs. DC? I think the answer is pretty obvious.
Mortal Kombat, say what?
Yeah, okay.
I didn't hear what the question was.
No, that's good enough answer. No, he's asking he's asking Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or Mortal Kombat vs. DC.
Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Yup. There's a paycheck attached to that one. Man's livelihood is on the line. Why are you asking these questions? 2779, avid Podcast Beyond listener fan. Can you decapitate Batman? Oh my.
No.
Batman?
Boom 2 just went on.
Batman? Commissioner Gordon, Batman.
And then here we'll finish up with I Am Akin. This is a good question for downloadable content. Where are my Watchmen characters?
You know what? A lot of people have been asking that. We didn't have full access to every single DC character. There are certain characters that are being used for, upcoming movies, and so there was a restriction. We had a list of characters we could do. We did make some requests for characters that weren't on that list, and we got the okay, but, we were asked, actually not asked, we were told not to make Batman look like the Dark Knight Batman. Mm-hmm. Joker was not supposed to look, he looks like more like the Killing Joke Joker, not Heath Ledger. So.
Yeah. So
there were restrictions, and that was one of them.
What were some of the ones you had to fight for, if you don't mind, if you can talk about it?
We didn't have to fight for any. We just kind of asked. I think Lex Luthor wasn't on the original list, but we wanted him in there. And they wondered, how would you make Joker be able to fight? And it was like, with the story, you can
do whatever you want.
Do whatever.
Exactly. It's not something that's beyond our comprehension.
Beyond.
You walk right into it. All right, wrapping up. This has been like a mini show.
Yeah, it has.
Now we're going to do our favorite segment, Just the Tip. Just the Tip. This is where we give trophy tips. Trophies are in this game, correct?
Just the tip.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, they definitely are.
Can you tell me a little bit about how some of the ones that are in there, how they got? Obviously, I'm assuming there's one, complete the story, do stuff like this, take a character through arcade.
I think pretty much all the modes have a a story or a trophy that's going to be awarded to it. So you can go into what we call a combo challenge, which is it's like an enhanced practice mode where you are given like this string of combos to do: pop the guy up in the air, throw a batarang, kick him before he lands.
It looked very confusing.
And when you achieve some of them, you get actual trophy rewards. And also in the story mode, as you finish certain chapters, you get awarded with trophies for that. God, where else? What was that? Do every fatality. Yeah, right. Do every fatality is a trophy. There are some that are like really pretty tough to get.
Is there possibly like a MK or DC test your might in this one?
There's a test your might mode. One of the modes I was talking about was the free fall and the close combat. Another one is you can kind of tackle a guy through the building, and you're running through all the rooms inside the building ready to come out on the other side. During that sequence, you're basically doing a test your might. So if I'm tackling you, I'm trying to mash on the buttons to make more damage, and you're kind of fighting it to lessen the damage, and that's kind of a quick diversion from the normal fighting mechanic.
I'm asking you to hold off on sending this game for as long as possible, because Jeff and I will cease doing other work.
Yeah, no, it's
all day
just
long
back and forth.
All right, Jeff, any closing comments here? Thoughts? Questions?
I'm looking to hop in, beat a couple people into the ground.
All right, sounds good. Ed Boon, give me a Beyond.
Beyond?
Now give me a Scorpion Beyond.
Beyond?
That was good. All right.
Sweet.
All right, let's go back to the real show. Thank you, Ed, so much.
Thank you.
Man. Cool.
All right, that was pretty cool. Very good for you guys hosting those guys in here and getting that done. We have a special segment right now we're going to do real fast to help you in case of an emergency. You want to be safe. You want to make sure that if things go wrong, you know what to do. You know how to protect yourself, your loved ones, co-workers perhaps.
If you love them.
What we have here in the room right now is, here, let me see the sheet here.
This is a Beyond public service announcement.
In a one of these little laminated things you can, stick a piece of paper inside and protect it. We have the emergency procedures for evacuation from the building. Somebody requested this as one of our, quarterly meetings or whatever and said, hey, what do we do if there's an earthquake? So
I have a real quick interjection too. You're right. We have one of these IGN all hands on meetings. They suggested this. Are we missing one right now?
No, it's at 11:30.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now I got it. All right.
I was like, wait, isn't we supposed to have one?
No,
real soon?
it's coming soon. But anyway, on this sheet, there's all these things about where to go. But one of them I think that people might want to know is how to use a fire extinguisher.
Yes.
Which Ryan is going to read this short little bit here. Ryan, take it away.
Using a fire extinguisher. Use the pass method. P. Pull the pin. A. Aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. S. Squeeze the trigger handle. S. Sweep from side to side. That's it.
This has been a Beyond public service announcement.
I learned how to do this I learned the opposite, I guess, from G.I. Joe.
Oh, yeah?
There was a G.I. Joe episode.
The opposite of pass?
Of using a flamethrower to take down a building as opposed to using a fire extinguisher to put out a fire.
If you have a gun, you can throw the fire extinguisher in the air and then shoot the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
And then it would be like cool. And then everybody think you're hot.
On G.I. Joe, I learned this when I was 10.
If I had a gun.
If you have a flamethrower and you want to take down a building, you shoot for the base of the building and burn the bottom. Yeah. And then the rest will burn. And if you take the bottom out enough, the whole thing will collapse.
There you go.
I learned that from G.I. Joe. So
you
now
also trap people too. They can't get out.
Yes. So now you know knowing half the battle, but also now you know how to
Use the pass.
Now you know how to stop fires and cause them.
Cool.
So now you both sides.
You learned something
There you
today.
go.
Thanks to
There you go.
Podcast Beyond.
Yes.
Beyond.
Let's get on to reader mail.
Reader mail? Chain mail?
I have a.
Mail.
I can
Mail
either
man.
prelude read a mail or end it with a delightful little comment we have here.
Let's end it with the comment.
Let's do it.
It'd be a little teaser for what's going to happen.
Ooh.
Give me one word out of the comment. The most interesting word.
Folklore.
Oh, no. We can see where this one's going.
No.
All right, the first one comes from HB Guy 311. Says, any news on when Sony is going to make it mandatory that devs support 1080p? He's sick of all the multi-platform games only supporting, his typo was 720p, which would be pretty rad, but 720p on PS3.
I got to get that TV.
When they support 1080p on 360. He says, yes, he knows that the 360 is scaling the games, but the fact that Sony does not include a scaling system means that people who are stuck with the 1080i only systems or only TVs are stuck with the 480p if it's only 720p. You know what I mean? But anyway, says, since there's no firmware fix for this, Sony's only solution is to make 1080p or at least 1080i mandatory. So here's the thing: is since there's no built-in scaler in the system, it takes processing power away from the cell to be able to scale. So it would depend on what the developer wants to do about whether they could, afford it, technically to be able to do the scaling. Most people these days have sets that will do everything, and it's not much of a concern for a lot of people. I know it's kind of a shady thing in that, people with, first-gen HD sets and stuff that only supports 1080i are kind of left out in the cold in this one. And it would be very cool if it got supported in some fashion. But the problem is if Sony adds that in, then now games that already came out that were already using the, cell as much as it could or whatever, those won't work right anymore and all this. So it's kind of a situation that I don't think is going to get fixed anytime soon, but I don't know. We'll see. Angry Shadow Man says, do you guys prefer the drums in Rock Band or the drums in Guitar Hero World Tour? He played it safe and bought the disc version of Rock Band 2 and the band set for World Tour because they're wireless and they look more realistic to play. Have you guys played the Guitar Hero World Tour stuff yet?
I've sat at it and hit them with sticks.
What do you think?
I like Rock Band better, but I don't play the drums in general.
Yeah, I like the Ion better than anything.
Well, the Ion
that's obvious.
Come on,
mutant,
dude. Seriously,
but
He's a mutant.
But
yeah.
But no, I like the Guitar Hero ones, but I'm just partial to Rock Band, partially because I think the game's better than Guitar Hero.
Well, yeah, Rock Band definitely is better, but I think that the drums in Guitar Hero are pretty rad. I like the fact that the cymbals are separate.
I do like the cymbals.
So I had a lot of fun playing those. So I personally, by a small margin, I would go with the Guitar Hero set. Although people are having problems with it, and there's all kinds of issues about that. So
right.
Buyer beware. But one thing that I don't like about the Guitar Hero World Tour set is it's a pain in the ass to tear down. So if you guys haven't played this thing yet, so the top comes off, right? You can lift the drums off the stand, and there's two little poles that extend that hold the cymbals, and those things can collapse. But the stand itself, once you snap the base in place, you can't get it out unless you use like a putty knife and pry back the little clips. So it's sort of the stands that rise to hold to rise the height of the kit will collapse, and you can kind of push the two ends in some, so it'll become a little bit smaller. But the feet and then the perpendicular poles that hold up the thing can't be separated. So, or at least without prying it apart, because there's like little plastic clips that snap in place, and that's it. There's no way to there's not a little thing like there is in the Rock Band kit where they just come apart or whatever. So that's kind of not so good. Anyway. 27079 writes in, he says he keeps hearing that people are saying that there are too many games to play this type of year. How would you get beyond this problem?
Beyond!
How would you fix the situation?
Pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to ignore
Nobody's
some stuff,
forcing
you're
it.
going to catch... I mean, the spring will be quieter, and then you can catch up on what you missed.
I say use some sick days, man.
There you go.
If you got some vacation time, do it now.
Hey, bro, I don't feel good.
Do it
No.
now.
Yeah.
I don't feel so good
Get
either.
to the chopper.
Ryan, you're in charge.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Trucks the Stampede 1 says, what is one piece of advice you would give to Sony for the PS4?
Holographic.
In
You
reality,
want holographic displays?
Sure.
Man, so I just saw this morning before we came in there via Engadget. I'm a big fan of that site.
Ooh.
But there's a show going on. There's so many tech shows. I have no idea what they're called anymore. They're called CES. But there's a tech show going on in somewhere. I want to say it's Paris, but I could be totally wrong. Anyway, there's a tech show going on. Some folks are displaying a holographic, I believe it's from a cell phone, but it's like a display where it shows you, 3D holograph pops up out of the thing or whatever it is, however that thing's working. I don't know if it has to use mirrors, whatever. I just saw the picture and had to come in here, but that's pretty sick.
Yeah,
So, maybe
definitely.
that will start happening, but probably not. My two pieces of advice for Sony for the PS4 is, number one, don't release it at $600.
Yep.
And number two, and more importantly, because you can get past the $600 thing because the price will eventually come down, is number two is make sure the online infrastructure and all that kind of crap is ready to go from day one.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Sony dropped the ball. A lot of stuff with the launch, not having voice support in every game. The cross media bar wasn't on there, so you couldn't have friends list tie-in across there. Trophies came later, and that would have been nice to have on day one. But I mean, other things like voice support not being supported, all that kind of stuff. Man, you got to have that ready from the get-go. So, hopefully, I would assume that the PlayStation Network, being that it is what it is now, when the PS4 launches, it'll just roll right over, and there won't be any sort of like, oh, this doesn't work, let us wait to support it. But,
I imagine they should more heavily support digital distribution as well, because that's definitely going to be taking over soon.
Yes.
Yes.
Pyromaniac writes in and says, do you think there will be a console next generation that releases a year before the others? He could see Sony taking this preemptive strategy in hopes for a rebound year.
10-year plan.
Nah, that's a bunch of crap. I think the only company that might do it would be Nintendo, because clearly Nintendo's not going to go for the all-out graphics powerhouse again next time, because the Wii is so successful for them. So they're going to do,
The Wii too.
Extremely likely they're going to do another version of that where they have graphics halfway between like a 360/PS3 and what the Wii is now. Maybe do some HD stuff, hopefully. But I mean, Microsoft and Sony are going to go for it all again, and it's just going to take some while to put it together. But on the other end of this is that Nintendo, if their system's selling, they're not going to come out and replace it. But
no, they'll just revision it.
Yeah.
Maybe throw in a hard drive or something.
Put in a DVD player.
Oh, that would be something special.
CD player?
Man, yeah, if you could play music on a console, that'd be amazing. Whoa. Mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling.
Jobo42 says, what is our favorite PS2 gem that we'd like to see on the PS3 in any form? Some form, even?
What is our favorite PS2 what?
Gem. PS2 gem.
Gem.
Mine's easy. It's Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
Bring that piece to the PS3 somehow. I don't care if it's on the PlayStation Network. Man, I would love to see that game come over. The exact same content, but you just have the 720 or 1080p like rendering, so it's not all jaggy. Yeah. Better frame rate, just naturally. Man, that would be my game of the year, even though I've played the whole thing multiple times.
How many times have you played that game anyway? More than 3?
No, I think 3.
3 times?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, maybe 4. But yeah. Anybody else got anything? Anybody want to chime in on this one? PS2 gem on the PS3?
I was going to say Shadow too.
Anybody?
I
forget the name of this game, but I was the only person who bought it from EB in Bloomingdale, Illinois. It was one that did not get very good reviews, but was very interesting, where it was all about time travel. There was multiple endings to it. You were trying to solve your own murder, like you got stabbed at one point, so as soon as you get killed, you time travel back and try to find the object to keep you from being killed. It's like you got stabbed in the back, so you had to put a frying pan in your back, in your jacket, stuff like this.
I don't remember this at all.
It was it did not do well. You had to talk to a juggler at one point. At one point, it turned out that you had time traveled already from the way past. Like, there was all these crazy storylines. Yeah, it was, adventure.
All right. Well, anyway.
Somebody help me out with that, by the way. I'll try to look it up. But
yeah, Legally Sane writes in. He says, any ideas on what David Jaffe might be making right now? Just from his blog, it doesn't seem to be Twisted Metal.
Radioing all trucks.
That's what you think? Huh.
The sequel to Calling All Cars.
I think Calling All Cars is sort of a decent path, kind of, for it. I think he's going to do one of 2 things. I think he's going to do something totally crazy like Twisted Metal, but I think he's going to do something that's it's going to be a big game, but smaller in production scale. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be sort of, lighthearted and have, or maybe it'll be like Twisted, but it'll be cartoony in nature and stuff like that. I think because that way, if you're making cartoony type stuff, I would assume you could keep your development team smaller. You don't need as much detail. You don't need all the 3D artists doing all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to say that he's going to be making something that's kind of lighthearted in visuals, but maybe it could be very bloody.
Yeah.
Which I think would be pretty cool. And maybe Itchy and Scratchy the video game.
That would be sweet. But even if it is like Twisted Metal, like it could be one of those things where he's playing cat and mouse with everybody that's reading the blog.
Itchy and Scratchy.
Exactly. Where he's just like throwing things out so that people don't think that he's working on it, but he actually is.
And then everybody's gonna say, What? Yeah, boy. Black Man already says. Which stage of a game do you as game journalists enjoy more? The early stage when only industry types like yourselves can enjoy the beta and alpha builds, or do you prefer the point when a game's completely playable and reviewable after a long wait?
Like for everybody, or just for us?
Well, for everybody, yeah.
I prefer early. Like by the time a game gets out, generally, we've played it and reviewed it. So it's like
okay. Well, we're just talking like the month time frame of when we get the final, we can play through it, and then
I like that better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I like being able to. I like that build up, like when Metal Gear when we were playing it that week before and stuff. Like that was awesome.
But yeah, like it's kind of a little bit of a toss up for me because like I really love getting my hands on something first and going like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then being able to talk about it. But there's also that point at which, depending upon what the game is, it's so good that you want to actually talk with people about it.
Yeah.
And you can't wait until people can actually play the thing. And you're like, dude, I want to talk to you about this, but I'll spoil it.
Yeah, I pretty much totally agree with what you just said. I love being able to, like, My least favorite part is the middle, where you've seen the game before, and now here's one new feature and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and they keep trotting out the same thing. And you're like, okay,
they
what's
won't just
new
give you
here?
the build to go play. You have the game done, just give it to me.
And so part of it is you're sitting there going like, okay, so it's kind of a little different, and they changed the lighting. Ooh, big difference.
But the first time that somebody shows the game, we're talking about something that's cool here or whatever. This first time they show something, and it's like you've never seen it before, and it's brand new, and like, hey, check this out. And a lot of times people are like, hey, what do you think? What does it look cool? That I love that kind of part. I like to just sit down and play it and not be restricted to one level. And you don't have the weapons and all that kind of stuff. So I like both. The thing that excites me more is the first time you see something. Yeah,
that's always a cool feeling.
Yeah. Dom OSX says, I plan on finally getting a PS3 just in time for Dark Knight on Blu-ray. It's a very good choice
an awesome
there.
idea.
Yeah, but I figured
December
I'd ask
7th, 2nd, something like that.
3rd, something.
I think
no.
it's the second.
It's in the single digits of December.
Yeah. But I figured I'd ask if I would be better off getting the current 80 gig model or getting a 60 gig off eBay or something so that I have backwards compatibility. He hasn't had a PS2 for a while and he's itching to play Metal Gear Solid 4, but he wants to do so after first playing the first 3, which he would need the thing for at least 2 and 3.
I do love the backwards compatibility.
If you're sure
good.
that the 60 gig hasn't been abused, then go ahead and do that. But otherwise, you might as well just pick up a slim.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a giant hole in it.
Yeah, because you can always replace the hard drive, so the space isn't an issue. You want the goods in the package. Pseudoprime 1979 says, for someone new to the PSP, should I get a 2000 or a 3000? To clarify, people don't follow the numbers. The 2000 is the slim, and then the 3000 is the new brighter one.
Yeah.
I'm saying the 2000.
Yeah.
I go 2000 all the way. I don't like the 3000 screen. Or it's okay, but it's worse, I think.
Yeah, but I think I like being able to play in sun and not have to not be able to see anything. Like when I'm waiting for a train, waiting for Craig to pick me up in the morning, like I can sit on my stoop and sit there and play with the 3000 and be able to see what's happening.
That is a good point, but I never play outside.
True. Yeah, that's what it comes down to, how you're going to use it.
Yeah.
Roper does live underground, remember?
Yes, in the Batcave.
Yes.
Dopalicious writes in, he says, is it worth keeping a game once you've got 100% of the trophies and beaten it multiple times? Or should you sell it and put the money towards a new game?
Melt it.
Quite the predicament. Microwave.
Yep.
Microwave the disc. I'm not saying you should do this because I don't know if it could blow you up.
No, it just pops. It makes everything pop on the disc.
Pop!
I don't think that's good for either the disc or the microwave.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
Darth Vader.
It could burn down your house. If you don't want to play it, you can look on YouTube. There's videos of this kind of stuff, but it's rad. It looks awesome. Like lightning basically shoots all over the...
Doesn't it create like a little centralized lightning burst?
No, but you have to have like foil or something to actually make like that.
Don't
but
do
if
any of this.
If you shove a disc
Don't
do that. But if you just shove a disc into a microwave, like it pops like the surface, and so you see like little light pops on it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't like send things arcing out. You have to put
it
something
looks like
onto it.
lightning is covering the top of the disc. It's rad.
It starts filing around.
We get an email next week. Dear Beyond, my house is gone.
I'm writing
my family.
Yeah,
I'm writing this email from a library because my house is gone.
clarify, never do what we just said.
Yes.
But look for the videos on YouTube.
We have a microwave in the IGN office. We will gladly do a video feature on this for you.
I'm not doing that, but okay.
We'll blame that on Greg.
If we buy a new microwave for him.
Espionage writes in and he says, do you think an annual subscription to Core is worth it?
No.
Nope.
Even though it gets you in a home now, right?
No.
Yeah,
Nope.
the annual subscription gets you at home, yeah.
Nope.
No.
Core is worth it only if you really like betas and they keep delivering them.
Or you like the host. Nate.
Ooh.
And
I think he is trying to get it.
Dick Ballistic writes in, he says, I'm sure the information is somewhere right in front of my eyes, but what should I search for in game to find the Little Big Planet level that'll score me a few quick trophies? I already actually covered this one. The one that I made is called Trophies Galore. Go on there. The last email of the day before we get to Ryan's special treat comes from John. He's the guy that sent us all the beers. He says, I hope you all enjoy the beers. He says, I went and got cheap HDMI cables, about $12 for two 6-foot cables. I'm assuming he used Monoprice. Everybody by now knows the secret of Monoprice.
It's awesome. Go
Greatest cable site on the entire
their
world.
Sales.
Oh, hell yeah.
By 62 folks.
He said he got $12 for two 6-foot cables, which, by the way, if you bought them at two
$100
6-foot cables, would be $100+ in stores. So $12 is an incredible deal. He says, since I had heard there was not really any difference between the quality between cheap ones and expensive monster cables. There's a friend of his works at Circuit City and tells him that there's definitely a difference and I should get some monsters. He said he doesn't think he's trying to make a sale or anything, but he wanted to make sure that nothing's changed since the article that he read last year that said there would not be a noticeable difference in quality. So 2 points here. First off, I don't remember the site that I read this on, but there was some site that was doing comparisons between cables and actually took coat hanger wire and put that between the TV and whatever display they were using, and it worked perfectly fine. And people couldn't tell the difference unless they were like looking hardcore between coat hanger wire and monster cables. Now, I would tell you this one. Now, I don't know if I believe that 100%, but I believe it at least some. I'll tell you this one. I worked at Circuit City for a little while.
And you didn't know anything.
No, I already knew a lot, but here's the thing. So when you work at Circuit City, at least this was like 9 years ago when I did this. When you work there, they first put you in front of a lot of jobs give you like the tutorial thing you go through and you learn the kind of stuff. At Circuit City, and I imagine other places like this, there's a lot to know about TVs and receivers and all that kind of stuff. So you basically go through a training course, and for a lot of people, I think it takes like 2 or 3 weeks to go through. And you basically go through, you learn stuff, and they give you a quiz. And in this thing, Circuit City has a crazy deal with Monster. Monster cables are very expensive. They're like $50 or $60 for like their, some of their stuff. And Circuit City makes a lot of money. Best Buy also, all these people make a lot of money on monster cables because they cost almost nothing to produce. Whereas for TVs and things like that, they make less of a profit. So monster cables are like money in the bank for them, right? These expensive cables. When you go to work for Circuit City, a lot of the stuff that you see is basically saying monster cables are incredibly important. They're incredible. Look at all these, and they basically brainwash you into thinking that monster cables are amazing. I'm not going to say monster cables are crap. I think they're good. I used to own some. I like them. They're cool. They're good build, but they are not worth the 5, 6, 10 times price of stuff that you'll get on mono price. So if you're looking for component cables or whatever, go buy some cheap ones from mono price, whatever, and you'll be perfectly happy.
Circuit City, you just got beyond
Circuit City.
Beyond.
Yeah.
And by proximity, Best Buy.
Oh,
I love Best Buy. It's my favorite store in the entire world. So, massive props to
Okay.
Best Buy. Dude, they have everything. It's my favorite store.
Do they have
Ryan,
punch
let's
and
get
pie?
to your special comment.
So, as you guys may or may not know, I put up my Valkyria Chronicles review yesterday, and it received a 9, and it is a very good game that I highly recommend. It comes out next week. But Shivam, one of our new media assistants, pointed out this comment on my review that I just had to take a moment to read to you fellow Beyonders.
Beyond?
I'm going to read it in as entirely as accurate as this person has written it, because it's just great.
Oh, boy.
This guy is the same that gave Folklore a 9, and that title was one of the worst action RPG I ever played. Don't know if he is a RPG fanboy or what, but he is not a guy to trust at all. I will think twice before spend my money in this title, but yeah, the thing is, it's not just him who gave the game a 9, no period, eternal standstill. That is a classic IGN comment right there.
I think he and his friends commented a lot on my Spider-Man review.
there you go.
Oh.
There is almost no grammatical punctuation in this except a single comma.
Very
No,
good.
2 commas. There you go.
That's pretty
Record-breaking.
awesome. Yes.
Weak sauce.
Our educational
wish
system
people
at
would
work.
pay attention in school. Man, it really helps you.
They have a lot of comments to write, Rip. They don't have time for commas and periods.
I see.
Or to proofread.
I see.
Or grammar.
Places to go.
And he also forgets that a review is an opinion.
Yes.
So
All right, that
Remember
gets us to the end of
important stuff.
brings us to the end of the mailbag.
Wah, wah, wah.
There's a special segment apparently we're doing now that was written on my piece of paper by one Greg Miller.
Yeah, you're jumping to where it should be, but whatever.
Well, we're gonna.
Wait, what?
I want to know what this is, so I'm skipping ahead to it.
Okay, yeah, I have a brand new
this
segment
part
for-
of the sheet is the random order segment
Okay,
that I
okay.
just basically
All
call
right.
on whenever. So now
Okay,
we're skipping the special segment.
Special segment here. This is called special segment Liar. This is where I call someone out for being a liar. Chris Roper, you are a liar.
What?
Yes. Last week you said, "Oh, it's Thursday, so every Thursday I'm going to wear my Schrootbuck shirt." And every Thursday morning I wake up excited to see the Schrootbuck shirt,
totally forgot to
excited to
wear it.
watch The Office. You are wearing a SingStar shirt. Chris Roper is a liar.
No, you know what happens?
What? Tell me
is-
another one. Fleece me another yarn here, sir.
You know what happened is I have a whole crap load of T-shirts because we get so many free T-shirts. They send every review copy of the game. They send you some stupid T-shirts, and I have not done laundry since last Thursday.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's
I
dirty.
wish I could
and-
believe you, but it's already been confirmed on Podcast Beyond City that you are a liar.
was like excited. He's like, I'm going to introduce a new segment. Roper, you're a liar.
Oh man, you're fired.
I'm moving up the ranks.
see who lies next week.
Oh my
It's going to be me.
Maybe it'll be you, Greg.
Maybe.
Maybe I'll call you out. See, now the segment isn't just your segment. Now it's
now it's
now
part
it's
of
into the
Podcast
general
Beyond.
public.
Should I add it to our segment list officially? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
But it's supposed to be called Special Segment Liar. That's the official title for it.
Oh my God.
Let's find out what's happening
awesome.
with the NCAA tournament.
We're the season's done. We have a champion for the Big 12 IGN's late dynasty. It is none other than Sticks and Picks. Him and the
Sticks and
Texas
Picks.
Tech Raiders, right? Yeah, they beat me, the Mizzou Tigers, in the Big 12 championship quite easily. I had not played this game in about 2 months, and Sticks and Picks made sure that I knew it. And in the second quarter, I tried to quit, or friendly quit. You know, they had that option in the game saying that he beat me, and it wasn't there. So I did the PSN message to him saying that you have won. Why can't I quit? And he said, well, you just run the ball and we'll just get out of here. And I said, okay. So we just ran down the clock. Something insane like 34-7. And one of my only touchdown came like on fourth quarter BS play. So yeah, but I was running the sidelines. I'm trying to throw downfield. I threw the ball out of bounds. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Although, it's kind of odd because I wound up playing Sticks and Picks last week, and we ran into this really odd bug where I tried to go for a field goal, missed the field goal, but the refs gave me the ball back and a fresh set of downs, and I was like, but he was like, what?
No, there's a whole bunch
What?
of really.
What?
We've had a lot of crazy dynasty errors. Once we got this thing restarted, everything was wrong.
Bugs left and
after
right.
you played Sticks and Picks, we advanced the season, and Mizzou was supposed to play KU, Rolls Royce,
right?
And for some reason, when I advanced the season, only Jeff and I saw that reflected. The other two guys were still a week behind. So even though Sticks and Picks had already played Jeff, it showed up on his screen that he had, and Rolls Royce couldn't accept my invitation to play him for the Dynasty because he hadn't been able to advance.
Yeah.
Weird.
But I managed to get my Insight Bowl championship last night over the Fighting Illini.
Yeah, the Mizzou Tigers finished 25th here, and I'm in some humanitarian bowl, which I will simulate and then immediately trade NCAA in.
There you go.
And we will never do this again. We will do resistance individual play sessions. We will do
co-op
fun
or something,
things that are just one day contained, not something that drags on like a limp.
But thank you, Rolls Royce and Sticks and Picks, for hanging in there.
You hung it out. You didn't quit.
Getting on with more online stuff. Greg, you've got PSN Hit of the Week.
I do.
Hit of the week.
This is someone who IM'd me to especially request being Hit of the Week. His name is Rich5214, RICH5214. He wants to be Hit of the Week because he IM'd me to thank us for talking so much about Dead Space. After we all told him how much we were in love with it, and I said I was gay for it because I love that Isaac. He said, I'm going to go out and buy it. He went out and bought it, and then 3 of his friends watched him play it, and they went out and bought it.
Ooh,
so
wow.
Podcast Beyond is at the top of the pyramid scheme of getting Dead Space into every home.
So all we have to do is tell EA that and get a cut of the profits.
No, that did not get said.
No, it did not.
PSN hit confirmed.
Chuck's gonna send this giant box of cash now.
Don't do it, Chuck! Don't do it!
I do actually have some tournament winners, even though Beast is on vacation.
Let's hear him.
Cold Comfort, we all know him and love him. He was happy, glad. Bleh. He was kind enough, that's what I meant, not happy or glad, kind enough to write in and say that they had organized some Resistance 2 beta community co-ops in Beast's absence, which I thought was really cool, including Cold Comfort, Frog Splash 45, Fury 185, and the best Chimp My Ride, which is great.
Yes,
that is good.
And Cold Comfort, he said that he did finish at the top of the leaderboards, but only because he was playing as a medic, and he is like the house of the battlefield, which is a good comparison. And he said they all had a lot of fun.
Really
it was great. And
Medics
he was,
rule.
So that means
I don't know about that.
That means
hate
every
house.
level, some unsolvable medical thing comes in, and then at the last
And he's a
5
jerk
minutes
the
of the
entire
show,
time and screws up his friends'
and the
lives,
last
and everybody
5
likes
minutes
him. I
of the
hate
level,
House.
Okay.
he comes in
I'm not
and
a
he comes
huge
in
fan.
and
just,
I
says,
vehemently hate him.
he comes in and says, "Oh, it was because the paper that you're using to do your reports came from Yugoslavia, and in this time when it got shipped out, it went through a rat's nest. So now you're eating rat feces."
My favorite was
there's why you have cancer.
the single dad who was dating a younger woman, and he was using a penis cream to make his junk bigger, and the cream was it's just straight testosterone, so it rubbed off on his kids, and like his little boy was like super, like he's like 5, but he's like super angry and like all roid raged up, and his daughter was like 7, but she was already having periods and stuff. It was all screwed up. They were all dying from this. It was like,
holy
man.
crud. Anyway, well, thanks, Cold
don't
Comfort,
watch House.
for
It's a
writing
bad
in.
show. Also,
Beast 786
Hugh Laurie
absence.
was supposed to be Perry White in Superman Returns, but he couldn't get out of his house freaking schedule to go do it.
Man.
Lame.
Talk about leaving the show on a downer.
Yeah, House is kind of a jerk.
Yeah,
No,
he's a huge jerk.
I think if we are at the end of the show, but I don't think it's going to end on a downer. If Greg, the song was teased correctly.
Yeah, well,
Let's
like
hear
I
what
said,
it
we
is.
had a special guest, Ed Boon, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Look for that review somewhat soon. I don't know, November-ish, the first couple weeks there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Podcast Beyond.
Beyond.
Fight! Scorpion! Cyrax! Liu Kang! I don't know any. Sub-Zero. I said Liu Kang already.
Ryan, epic fail.
This has turned into the acapella.
You're ruining the song, Ryan.
Combat.
Ryan.
I'm ruining the song? Right.
I don't know. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Beyond! What?
Yeah, beyond.